Howdy everybody, what is going on, my friends? So as you see, this looks a little different from yesterday because I got a new tripod, or a car mount phone thing, a car camera mount. There we go. So camera angle's a little bit better than yesterday because I had to hold you guys down by my steering wheel. Not a good angle. But today on the schedule is going to be chest and biceps, a little bit of shoulders and abs. Maybe abs. My lower back still is healing up a little bit because I tweaked it a little bit on Monday, I think it was. So I'll see what I want to do for abs. But if I do abs, I've been having a lot of issue with time because I've been working a lot more. And when you're working a lot more, you can't do as much outside of work. So what I have been doing is recently just working like 10, 12-hour shifts. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring back supersets a little bit. Like, not anything crazy where I'm doing like supersets every lift, but like my lifts, like if I do shoulders or, you know, if I do chest, I might superset it with abs a little bit. Vice versa, like if I do like, since I'm going to be doing chest and biceps, I might do chest and then superset biceps. I'll kind of see what I want to do because I want to like not speed it up to where it's like, you know, not going to allow me to progress, but just speed it up to where I'm not wasting my time. So like chest, I probably won't superset anything, but biceps, I'll probably go biceps and then shoulders. You know, like bicep curls to lateral raises or something like that. You know, just to get some extra stuff in while we can, because we want to be as time efficient as possible during when we have longer work days. You know, if you have the time and availability to be able to hit that gym for however long you want, I wouldn't say do supersets. Supersets, I don't think are the most, you know, the best way to grow, but I feel like it's a good way to grow, and it's a good time efficient. That's like why I think you should use supersets or drop sets. Maybe not drop sets, but supersets. But don't ever do like a superset where you go to like, in my opinion, don't ever do a superset unless it's for like fun or a pump. But don't ever go to a superset to where you go from like a bicep movement to another bicep movement. I think that's kind of useless. Go to like a bicep movement to like a tricep movement, or a bicep to like shoulder, chest to back or something really quick. But the higher exhausting exercises, like a chest exercise or a back exercise or a leg exercise, I would strictly try to, like, not strictly, but try to stray away from doing supersets because you're so exhausted from doing chest exercises or back. It's just the bigger muscle groups. But something like biceps, forearms, shoulders, abs, you could definitely get away with doing supersets on those, you know, because you're not exhausted and fatigued as much from doing a bicep curl compared to like a bench press or a deadlift or a squat, you know. But with that said, I'm not going to leave much more with it and to it. I'm going to get in here. All right, so now we have a new kind of form when we're doing these. And so it's going to make you have to go a little bit lighter when you're doing these. But pretty much you're going to kind of internally rotate the dumbbells, making sure you have your elbows and shoulders not flared out. But just make sure you're going really, really deep for a really deep stretch at the bottom, like below your shoulders. I had to go a little bit lighter than this on the second set, but we're going to be training 2 sets, but train to failure and do partials at the end. Now, if you need a goated chest fly, I would recommend doing these. These are great for the bottom part of your chest and an upper chest at the stretch part right here. You're going to hit a lot of upper chest. I went a little too heavy for these, so I did 2 sets and I lowered the second set, but this one, just bang it out to failure both sets, but meet in the middle with your elbows. Now, if you want big arms for your girl to finally grab on your arms because you're not a skinny little woman, I can't say the other one on YouTube, they'll demonetize me, they won't get my video out there, but just make sure you're training the failure on these, make sure you're curling hard and on the way up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to superset these with lateral raises. They're one of my favorite exercises to get that side delt going. You're also going to be hitting a little bit of your front delt and a little bit of your trap whenever you're doing those, so just make sure you train the failure and lead with your pinky at the top, fellers. Now, I'm definitely going to start doing preacher curls like this. The unilateral way of doing it, it just feels so good at the top. And just make sure when you're doing these, you get a great squeeze at the top. This is going to get you that thickness look in your bicep. But it's kind of like doing triceps, like where you're kind of just extending at the elbow. You're going to hit all heads of the tricep. Same thing with this is if you're curling up, I mean, unless you're doing like hammer curls where you're doing more brachialis, this you're going to just be hitting all of the bicep. And unilaterally just allows you to just kind of like isolate each arm a bit more. So if you have imbalances, from York in it, we'll say on here, this is a great thing overall. So start with the weaker arm, and then we're going to superset this with rear delt flies, which is obviously focusing on your rear delts and a little bit of your traps if you're doing them about what I do otherwise. All right, y'all. Oh, let me get a little sip of this. Drink. Are we big? We big? Let me do this. All right, I don't know what you guys didn't hear or what you did hear, but I'm just going to say it again. If you guys even heard it. We're done with the workout. It was a great workout. Hopefully this thing doesn't, bug out on me again and like hit my volume button, which makes it not record anymore. So, but overall, today was a great lift. Definitely gonna do the thing with the shoulders, superset on biceps. That was a good idea. Rear delts felt good, and my side delts, I did that today, felt good. So overall, I mean, I'm happy with how things went today. I did 4 sets of chest and 4 sets of biceps and shoulders. So in all of 12 sets, and it took me 40 minutes, I think it was, or a little bit more than that, a little less than that, but still, that's just to go to show you don't need to be here for 2 hours, 3 hours like Arnold. Arnold was literally a full-time job in the gym, and it is a full-time job with all the eating and stuff, but I mean literally just like he did 2-3 hour workouts a day. And my buddy, we don't really talk anymore, but we used to go to the gym all the time together, and he almost tore his bicep, I think, or got like a grade 1 bicep tear, something, or whatever. Not, I think it was kind of faking it, but he was wearing a cast and everything. I don't really know, but pretty much he used to go to the gym 2 times a day for 2 hours each, 7 days a week. And I told him how dumb that was, like stupid, like, and he knows that now. We've talked about it in the past. just he remembers, like, dude, I don't even know why I did that. But that's just to go to show, like, sometimes less is more and more is less. You know, like, if you progress in the gym by doing as much as you can possible, marathon runners would have the most jacked legs ever. Sprinters have way bigger legs, bigger hamstrings. Bike racers, like, you know, the people that do, like, the really long bike races, and they do, like, the weighted pedaling, they have huge legs because they're going all out really quick. That's not to say that, you know, long distance, long reps, high reps, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't have a use in the world. It does. But if we're trying to build muscle, build strength, you are going to want to do the lower reps, high intensity route. That's not to say that, you know, high reps isn't high intensity, but it's a different type of intensity. You know, you're doing 20 plus reps, that's not going to, you know, you're not sufficiently using the muscle that you should be doing, right? Like the weight you should be using. Like, you could do on a bicep curl 20 reps with a 20-pound dumbbell, and you can get to failure on that. But what do you think is going to grow your muscle more? A 20 rep set going to failure, or a 8 rep set going to failure when you're using 40 pounds, 45 pounds, 35 pounds? I would personally think that going to failure on the lower reps, because you're using more weight, you're going to go to failure on, and you're going to progress on more. Because yes, the weight does matter. I'm not saying go in there and be an idiot, ego lift the whole time, and, you know, just be a jackass with the weight, but know that what you're doing is sometimes either going to not build muscle or build muscle, and you have to be honest with yourself. Like, was that set really to failure? Did I have another rep in reserve? And if you said yes, you lost. You lost. If you failed, you won, which, you know, as a kid, when you fail in like a sport, you think that you lost, but in reality, when you fail, you always win, because you learn from it or you grow from it. You always gain something from failing in life. So try as much as you can. And this isn't even just about the gym. This is about everything in life. You want to start a business. Oh, people are going to call me corny if I fail, or I'm going to fail, blah, blah, blah. If you fail, who cares? You are so young. And even if you're 40, 50 watching this video, you still have so much life in you, dude. If you're going to live till 75, you still, if you're 50, have 25 years. That's literally half of your life that you already went through. You might as well try as much as you can till the day that you can't move. Because when you can't move, you're going to regret not doing the things that you wanted to do. And then, who cares if people call you corny for doing this? You know? Like personally, I got called corny, like, by a few people when I was going to the gym. I never really had any people, like, crazily make fun of me or bully me for doing these types of things. Because especially I think nowadays it's more normalized. Maybe in 2016, if you were trying to be a gym influencer, like the Lex Little times, people might have clowned on you then. But, like, you know, even if they did, who cares? Who the hell cares? That's one thing that makes me so mad about nowadays, is everyone wants to be nonchalant and not corny and stuff. Be corny, be chalant. Be happy with what you want to do in life. Because the thing is, if you surpass all of that, let's just say you actually make it. Let's say this, I actually make it on this YouTube stuff, and I make a living off this, and even more than what I wanted out of it. Even if people call me corny, guess what? I'm living the life that I always dreamed of living, while they're living a job where they hate their job and hate their wives or whatever, hate their lives. And what they got out of it was calling me corny and making themselves feel better for a little bit. Now, that's not to say that's 100% happened, but I did get called corny and stuff by a few people, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I wanted to do, you know? And it's just like, what is so corny about trying new things in life? You only get one life. Why not try everything that you want to do? Why not try and be a different person? Why not try to do something way bigger than yourself? Do something that you Do something that you think you can't do. Just try as much as you can. So learn it in the gym, first of all, saying, if I fail on this set, it's going to hurt like hell, but I'm going to gain muscle after it. I'm going to get a great pump after it. You are doing the hard stuff now for the reward later. And sometimes you won't even get a reward. Me going to the gym from now compared to where I was at, like, you know, when I first started, every set that I did when I first started was going to gain me muscle mass. Even a little amount, it's going to gain me muscle mass. Now, not every set to failure is going to gain me a crazy amount of muscle mass, if any. Every gym session isn't going to gain me any muscle mass. It might gain me some, might gain me very little, or it might give me none at all. But at least I'm going, and at least I'm getting that first domino down. It's the domino effect. If you keep going, day after day, week after week, year after year, you are going to progress. It does not matter who you are in life. If you do something that you want to try and you try it, you'll fail or you'll actually get what you want out of it. So you might as well try everything that you want, instead of just sitting down on the couch waiting for your time to come because people called you corny or weird or gay or whatever it is. Would you rather live for yourself or live for other people's opinions? That's the whole thing of this. Because if you want to live for other people's opinions, do that. If that's actually what genuinely makes you happy in life, by all means, man. But you're probably going to realize that's actually not what makes you happy, and that's probably what makes you depressed. If you live for other people's own brains and you don't even understand your own brain at all, you're missing the point. You know, me going to the gym isn't even about, like, yes, a big part of it's gaining muscle mass and getting one of the best physiques possible, but it's also proving to myself and my own brain that I'm doing something bigger than myself. This look right now that I have, I did not have when I first started the gym. At all. Like, at all. I was so small, so skinny, so frail. My frame literally grew with me. So, please don't give up. And please try stuff. You only get one life. You might as well try everything you want. So, with that said, I will see you later. Goodbye.